you guys, and welcome back to As Told by Kenya. It's the end of the month, and I try my best to come over on this channel and talk about things that have been on my spirit throughout the month. And so I just want to run through some stuff that I have been talking about. As I always say in every single video, if you just love Kenya oh so much, you can go follow me over on Patreon. I am there at least 2 times a week. If there is a pressing topic and you're like, what does Kenya think about it? I promise you I have more than likely discussed it over on Patreon. That is where I get my quick fiery thoughts out. Haven't thought about them too much. This is just off the cuff what Kenya thinks on something. But over on here, I like to sit back and really sit with the topic and see how I feel about it. And so I just want to run through a couple of things that have been on my spirit, and y'all can tell me down in the comments like you always do if you agree, if you disagree, but let's discuss it. So the first thing we have to come and discuss is Jay-Z. I do not talk about Jay-Z much on my channel. You could probably count on one hand how many times I have brought up Jay-Z on my channel, which is crazy because I am a Beyonce fan and I talk about Beyonce all the time. So you would think I would probably talk about Jay-Z because he's married to Beyonce, but I don't give a damn about Jay-Z. I do not give a damn about Jay-Z. I am not one of those Beehive members that like really care about Jay-Z. The Beehive can be split into all different types of Beyonce fan. There is a section of the Beehive that is very like invested in the Jay-Z Beyonce marriage and like that, you know, black love, and these two people are meant to be together and they're gonna be together forever. No weapon formed against them shall prosper. I'm not in that camp. Beyonce can divorce Jay-Z tomorrow and baby, I will put something on the grill. I do not like Jay-Z. I do not like what Jay-Z stands for. It's not it for me, dog. And somebody down in the comments gonna be like, how you don't like Jay-Z but you like Beyonce? That's the hill I choose to die on. He just does not exist in my life. If you're coming from a place where you just think we all should sit back and let Jehovah do whatever the hell he wants to do and let him get as rich as he wants to get, I'm not coming from that place. I am not coming from that place. I do not look at Jay-Z's wealth. I do not look at Jay-Z's flossing and him showing how much money he has and showing how good of a businessman he is. I don't see any of that as admirable. I don't see that admirable in anybody, but I definitely don't see it as admirable in Jay-Z. So I don't talk about Jay-Z very much because Jay-Z has not put out a studio album since 444, and he also hasn't really been involved in any of like Beyonce's music aside from like writing credits. He did come out, crazy enough, I saw Beyonce 3 times on the Cowboy Carter tour. He came out 2 of the shows I was at. That was just a weird like chance thing. Some people never saw Jay-Z that whole tour. He came out twice. He came out in Atlanta when I went to that show, and then I went to Vegas and he came out for that show too. So I actually have seen Jay-Z perform in the past year. But anyways, let's get into it. Jay-Z is on the cover of GQ. Everybody was shocked to see he was on the cover of GQ because Jay-Z has not really given a public interview like this in about a decade. This comes after he announced that he is going to be doing 3 shows at Yankee Stadium to celebrate 30 years of his first album coming out and the Blueprint coming out like shortly after. He is going to celebrate that 3 shows at Yankee Stadium. Go Jay-Z. When Jay-Z is doing Jay-Z-isms, when he is, you know, interacting with hip-hop culture in an authentic way, when he is interacting with his legacy in an authentic way, I do nothing but cheer Jay-Z on. I wish Beyonce gave a damn about the anniversaries of her stuff the way Jay-Z is giving a damn about his. So like, yes, I saw that Jay-Z was like putting stuff onto streaming sites before he announced the shows. There was a lot of lead up to this moment, and I was like, yeah, Jay-Z, this is what you should be doing. Like, you are one of the best rappers to ever live. You are integral to hip-hop culture. This is what you should be doing. So I was all for it. I'm not going to none of them shows. Number one, I'm not paying that much money anyways, and then I'm not a Jay-Z fan. But I said, yes, go do that. More of that, Jay-Z. But then he gets on the cover of GQ and everything just went to hell. And then everything just went to hell for me. I have to sit with myself and ask myself, what was I expecting from a Jay-Z interview in 2026? Because sometimes when you're disappointed, you have to look at your own expectations. Like, what did you want from this? And I think that may be part of my issue, that I was expecting too much from Jay-Z. And I don't know why that was, because if you do follow me over on Patreon, I have talked about Jay-Z, and I constantly talk about how, like, Jay-Z is not smart. Like, I genuinely think every time Jay-Z talks, Jay-Z is dumb. I did a video over on Patreon. It's called The Miseducation of Sean Carter. And for that video, I was going through a lot of interviews that Jay-Z had done before he kind of stopped doing interviews. And every time I was like going through interviews to get like examples for the stuff I was saying in the video, I'm like, Jay-Z dumb as hell. Jay-Z, either I don't know what he's talking about, either he don't know what he's talking about, or he just not making no damn sense. And so I've always felt anytime Jay-Z talks, Jay-Z has nothing to actually say. But it's been a decade. It's been a decade since we really heard Jay-Z talk about anything. So I think I went in expecting things to be different. If I could sum up the Jay-Z GQ interview, the best way to sum it up is the emperor has no clothes. That is what this interview felt like. It felt like Jay-Z was exposed for the vapid, thin, inauthentic capitalist that he is. That is what this interview felt like. It felt like throughout all of these years, especially for the past decade, people have built Jay-Z up, especially Jay-Z fans. They have built Jay-Z up as this great business mind, and he's so savvy. And then you have the jokes about Rock Nation and all of this stuff. And maybe I read too much into that stuff, but you're expecting, okay, Jay-Z is about to be 60 years old. You're expecting to see a man who has at least wisdom, or you're about to learn something at least. Even if I didn't agree with a single thing that Jay-Z said in this interview, I wanted to leave the interview being like, but I know his standpoint. I know where he stands on stuff. I know what he believes in. I know what he thinks. And even though I don't agree with him, at least he has an ethos. There are plenty of people who I don't agree with, but I respect. And that usually happens because they have an ethos. There is something they go through life believing, and that is why they make all of the decisions that they make. That is what I wanted in the least from Jay-Z. Not to agree, but okay, Jay-Z feels this way about these things, and this is why he feels this way. But the reason why I said it feels like the emperor has no clothes is because there isn't any ethos. Nothing Jay-Z said in this GQ interview. If I say JQ, I am so sorry. I'm calling people dumb. GQ. Nothing Jay-Z says in this GQ interview makes any sense. He'll say one thing, and then in the next statement, he'll directly contradict what he said, or he'll say something that doesn't make any sense, or that can directly be like, you poke that and like, is that how you really feel, Jay-Z? Or like, do you really think that makes sense? It was all so thin. It was all so thin, and it was all so vapid. I did not expect to leave a Jay-Z interview in 2026 feeling like Jay-Z is an empty vessel. Jay-Z is just like, there's nothing. The emperor, I'm telling you, the emperor has no clothes. There is nothing behind it all. Jay-Z is just rich. Jay-Z is simply just rich. Like I said, you can't even take even like a business savviness from it. He didn't even have anything to say about what he is doing in business that is all that great. Jay-Z is a venture capitalist. Jay-Z has not invented a single thing in his damn life except for his raps. So therefore, it's not like he just has this like brilliant mind and he's coming up with these ideas. Like, no, he's a venture capitalist. And so I was just like, what is it here? But there are a few things he says in this interview that really were just odd, that were simply just odd, and it made you think, oh, Jay-Z is stupid. I want to start by talking about the interview itself. There's been a lot of discourse on like why the interview was so bad. it's GQ, and the person who did the interview, his name is Frazier, I believe. He interviewed Beyonce for GQ. He interviewed Michael B. Jordan. He's interviewed several people for GQ. I've only read his Beyonce and Michael B. Jordan one, and they wasn't good either. I'm not saying he's a bad interviewer. The Jay-Z interview was bad. His Beyonce interview was bad. But at least with Beyonce, he was emailing with her. So I'm going to put that on her. And then the Michael B. Jordan interview was also pretty empty and pretty like thin. So like when I saw that he did this interview, I wasn't expecting much. But to throw him a bone, nobody was going to be able to interview Jay-Z in 2026 and be able to ask him anything real. The interview just simply would have not happened. If this guy would have been like, okay, Jay-Z, I'm going to interview you, but I'm going to ask you this, and this, Jay-Z would have just went with some other person. There is a reason why Jay-Z went here. He knew that he could get some of his stuff off if he did it here. So I'm not casting blame. It's the sign of the times, right? The way that journalism is, that so many celebrities don't want to be authentic. So many celebrities don't want to be interrogated or don't want to hear another point of view that doesn't make them look good. So they're not going to go search for it because they know that they don't have to do it. I don't want to be too hard on the interview guy. I don't know him from a can of paint, but this wasn't a good interview. I think the most bizarre thing about the interview was that every single question was framed as if it was trying to like help Jay-Z. Like every single question had some weird pointed angle. So it was like an alley-oop to Jay-Z. Like, why are you alley-ooping Jay-Z? Unless you are just committed to Jay-Z looking good. Which, say that then. It felt like a Stan was interviewing Jay-Z. And so every question was like, this is what they saying about you. Here's your time to tell them they're wrong. And this is how you should tell them that they're wrong. It was really, really odd and really, really bizarre. But you know what? There's still a lot of stuff here that we can discuss, because even though the interviewer wasn't saying much, there was still so much Jay-Z said wrong. Let's start off with like the first question that was asked in this interview. It was a question about how his 2025 went. And he brings up the lawsuit. As we all know, Jay-Z and P. Diddy were accused of sexual assault in a lawsuit, and basically, the lawsuit ended up being like thrown out, and Jay-Z is on the other side of that. And so he's asking, how is your 2025? Jay-Z starts by saying that 2025 was very bad for him, very, very bad time. Fine, whatever. I wanted the interviewer to push back so bad on the next thing that Jay-Z said. Jay-Z says that the reason why he was so angry about these accusations is because where he comes from, women and kids are not, you can't do women and kids. You can't do women and kids. Don't put that on me. All of that. That is not true. That is simply not true. He doesn't even have to go into, well, Jay-Z, you worked with R. Kelly after all of his stuff. Jay-Z, you were friends with P. Diddy for years. You don't even have to go. Fat Joe got a weird case. Why is he around Rock Nation? We don't even have to go into the very, weird people you have relationships with who, do odd things. Robert Kraft. We don't even have to go into, the people who allegedly have done weird things to women and children, and you have no issue with being around them. We don't have to go into that. We can go into, well, historically, hip-hop culture and Black culture has an issue with having healthy relationships with women and kids. All you have to do is listen to the music and you see that. But you definitely see it through all of the predators that roam around hip-hop culture. So Jay-Z, I don't think that is necessarily true. I don't think we can just put something past anybody who is in hip-hop culture, and definitely not past you based on your history. And am I crazy for saying that? Am I crazy crazy for saying that. But this interviewer just allows Jay-Z to just present himself as a specific type of guy, but there's no proof of that type of guy. This is not me saying that the lawsuit is true. This is not me saying that, Jay-Z needs to be in jail. This is not me saying any of that. This is just me pointing out a contradiction. That Jay-Z, actually, you have had no problem historically with people who have brought harm to women and children. So that was the first thing I said that was really odd in the interview. They do not push back. So then we go into, I think, the worst part of the interview, which is really an emperor has no clothes situation. The interviewer asked Jay-Z, how does he feel about being called a capitalist in a derogatory way? And Jay-Z says one of the most pathetic, stupid, and sad things ever. He says that he is a realist. He has zero desire to live in the world of these idealists who want the world to be a certain way. He lives in reality. He lives in a world where the system is a certain way, and he is going to work within that system. Jay-Z, you are a black man in America who was born in the 60s. There is actually no way, statistically, you should be as successful as you are. You should have never got out of Brooklyn based on what was going on in the 60s. The reason why you were able to do that is because of idealists. Because people decided that, hey, the way that black people are treated in America, ain't I? And black people should be able to gain capital for themselves. And that is why you have things. Idealists rule the world. Idealists are the people who actually make the world shake. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be good stuff. We don't have to think about the Martin Luther Kings, the Fred Hamptons, somebody who he has referenced in his own music, or the Malcolm X, somebody his wife has referenced in their music. Those idealists, you can see it the other way. You can see it how a lot of people are very nasty. You have a lot of people who like to spew all types of bullshit. You have bigots, you have racists, you have all of these people. And you want to know what they believe in? They believe in a world where all of their nasty ideas are the norm. And they work every single day to get to that point. Donald Trump doesn't become the president of the United States without him being an idealist. Everyone told him, you're not going to be President Trump. And guess what? He didn't believe it. He did not believe it. 20 years ago, all the people who wanted Roe v. Wade to be overturned, everyone told them that's settled business. That's settled business. Roe v. Wade is never going to be overturned. And look. So it works both ways. Idealist is all this world is built on. The issue is, Jay-Z, you don't even for a second want to interrogate the way that you move through this world. And this is what pisses me off the most about Jay-Z. Jay-Z believes that we all just hating on him. I don't know why Jay-Z think he the only rich nigga walking around here. I don't know why Jay-Z just thinks we all just banded together to hate him. No, the issue people have with you, Jay-Z, is that you do all of this capitalistic bullshit and then you spew that you are doing this stuff to help black people, or somehow you are gaming the system as if you're not the system. He says in this interview that he has not cheated anybody. He has not found a wrinkle in the system. Jay-Z, I'm going to tell you the exact wrinkle in the system that you exploit. Jay-Z has figured out that he can be the Negro to the streets that allow for these liberal-leaning white people to make money off of black people. So all of these liberal-leaning white men, they need some connection to black people to be able to sell whatever they want to sell. And Jay-Z is that perfect middleman, a connection to these rich white men and a connection to black people. He uses the capital that he uses the cultural capital that he has built with black people in order to sell them things things that white people have made. And that is the wrinkle in the system, Jay-Z, that you exploit every single day. That is what you do, Jay-Z. Jay-Z, that is your version of capitalism. You work for the system to peddle whatever bullshit they have to black people. That's exactly what you did with the NFL. You had all of these people not wanting to do the Super Bowl halftime show. You had all of these players kneeling or going into the locker room during the national anthem. And all of a sudden, Jay-Z comes out, tells everybody we are past kneeling, we are moving on. The NFL is going to do all this social justice reform in racism on the field. And all of that shit went away, didn't it? All of that shit went away, didn't it? That is what you're good for, Jay-Z. Roger Goodell and the powers that be realized we can use Jay-Z to get these black people in line. And that is what you are used for. The same thing happened with Barclays when everyone was upset and irate about Barclays being put right in the middle of Brooklyn. Who they wheeled out? They wheeled out Jay-Z, and that is what he did. Jay-Z, can you explain to me why you backed a school choice bill in Philadelphia that was 100% co-signed by MAGA? Do you want to bring that up, Jay-Z? Like, that's the thing. Jay-Z is swindling and duping y'all, but the buck stops here. Like, I am so sorry. He goes even further to say that, he's being tricked. He said it's tricknology. I think that's what he used to say that people are trying to trick him out of his spot. The reason why people are saying things like capitalist and stuff is to, make it seem like make it seem like he can't get money. The black man can't get money. And that's how I know Jay-Z is dumb. Jay-Z doesn't even at a root level understand what people are saying to him. Like, for that to be your answer, it shows that you're just you have no clue what we're talking about at all, Jay-Z. And it shows because here is the thing, Jay-Z. He talks about the American dream. Jay-Z, you do realize there are all types of texts that literally talk about how the American dream ain't good for black people, white people, Asian people, and all kinds. Like, the American dream is a myth. Like, you literally, like, that's been debunked. The American dream is not real. So why are you bringing this up in 2026 as if, like, the American dream is something anybody aspires to? Everyone has decided the American dream is fake. Like, Jay-Z, wake up. Wait, the book, The Great Gatsby? Yeah, that's the whole book is about that. The whole book is out. The American dream is fake. Even if you acquire money, it's still going to fuck you over in the end. And that's the thing I don't think Jay-Z also fully understands. In a game of capitalism, actually Jay-Z should understand it because he says in the interview that after he got hit with the sexual assault lawsuit, he immediately called up his business partners. So even you are aware, if we follow Jay-Z's story, he's being lied on. The reason why you called up your business partners is because you knew they might pull out from doing work with you. So even you are aware that all it takes is one person saying something about you, and all of these people who you work with can decide to pull out and leave you destitute. Do you see? You acknowledge, this capitalist game really has no winners. There are very few winners, and it won't be my black ass. And then what makes it so disheartening is, Jay-Z, do you see what's happening in this country? There are people who want black people in cages. There are people who want black people back on the plantation. Do you think money is going to save you? Do you think you are safe from what a lot of these people want to do to black people in this country? You're not. And so it is now more than ever, it is important to be an idealist, to have something to believe in a world that is better than this world. And another thing is about the American dream. Jay-Z and people like Jay-Z seem to believe that people like Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, or whatever, that they were just these destitute, squalor, gutter, dwelling ass niggas. Martin Luther King was perfectly fine. Martin Luther King was educated. He was around educated people. Martin Luther King could have lived a really good life. He really could have. That's why everyone needs to thank Martin Luther King every single day, because he really gave his life for this shit. Martin Luther King could have continued doing what he was doing and would have lived a fine life, and he would have been an exceptional Negro. But what Martin Luther King saw was that, yeah, he was able to bring himself up, and his family lived well, and the women around him lived well. But all he had to do was drive a couple minutes down the street, and he saw that black people were living horribly. Like, horribly. And he realized that, like, there wasn't a trickle-down effect. There wasn't a trickle-down effect. Like, he was fine, but most black people were not. And that is what brought Martin Luther King to the streets. So Jay-Z, I don't know what math you have done that makes you believe what you get is going to trickle down to us. And then there's always a Jay-Z fan who's like, you see what he do for black people, but they can't name me one thing Jay-Z did for them. What did Jay-Z do for you then? If you could just tell me what Jay-Z did for you, I'll shut up. He hasn't. And so the interview was just really, really bizarre. He then goes on to say that we shouldn't be doing none of the rap beef stuff. And this is one of those things where, like, Jay-Z, how do you get a say? How do you get a say in this? And there's a reason. Anytime Jay-Z comes out and says what we should or shouldn't be doing, he has an agenda. He has an agenda and he has a reason. And I don't want that. Like, Jay, no one's listening to you. No one cares what you have to say about rap beefs and all of this stuff. And then I find it interesting when celebrities pick and choose, when stan culture is good or bad. Jay-Z gonna have a bunch of stans who gonna clip the fuck out of this video and drag me for motherfucking filth. And Jay-Z surely loves it. I'm sure he surely loves that he has a gang of 40-plus-year-old niggas that's gonna be dragging the hell out of me for talking shit about him. But when it's the opposite and people talking shit about you, stan culture's so damn bad. Stop talking about people, kids. Stop talking about, like, come on. It was just so inauthentic. And then at the same time, you can't be mad at nothing he said because he also didn't shake the table in any way. Like I said, if I'm gonna read an interview and not agree with you, at least say something that's, like, interesting. Like I said, even I'm a realist, not an idealist. I believe in the American dream. They trying to trick me out my spot. Oh, I was angry when I got accused of sexual assault. Not women and kids. It's just like, it's literally stump speech type of stuff. Like, there's nothing authentic in any of it. It's just a bunch of, like, stuff that people say. Like, he thinks he's dropping gems, I think, but he's not. He's not. Like, he's in the interview like, don't let people tell you what you allowed to do as a black man. Like, it just felt very 2004. Like, just nothing interesting. And you would just think a man, oh, another thing. The interviewer tried to say Jay-Z don't live in ivory towers and Jay-Z is for the streets. Whose streets is Jay-Z for? This is the shit I be feeling like I'm losing my damn mind. Jay-Z is in the ivory towers. Like, what are we talking about? Jay-Z just hosted an Oscar party the other night but for the rich and elite. He was down there at Kris Jenner's birthday party that was at Jeff Bezos' house. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it doesn't get more exclusive than Jay-Z. Y'all got it though. Whatever. Like, what? It was just really odd. It was a really odd interview. And then, like, later on, like a day later, they dropped this other thing where a bunch of Jay-Z's friends said really nice things about him. It was like Pharrell, Chris Martin and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, like, whatever. Jay-Z says he's on the offense this year. If this the offense, baby, you might want to go back to the drawing board and figure something else out. The next thing I want to talk about, because I spent way too much time on Jay-Z, is Lotto really quick. I'm not going to go too much in the minutia of this, but Lotto, rapper Lotto, she is pregnant with her first child. You had people already thinking that Lotto was pregnant, and now it's confirmed that Lotto is pregnant. Speaking of dreams and ideas, I have a dream, no Martin Luther King, that one day a black celebrity will be able to announce that she is pregnant and there's no discourse. I have a dream that one day a black celebrity will announce that she is pregnant and we don't gotta get a 48-hour, you a baby mama, where your baby daddy, wear your ring. I have a dream. I have a dream that you bitches will one day be normal about people getting pregnant who not in your damn family. I have a dream that one day y'all will start living your own lives and not care about whatever girl living the life that you wish you had. I have a dream that you guys will use all of this energy for the people in your life, the young girls in your life who need you. You would use all of that energy and give it to them. That's what I dream. Because it don't need all this. Number one, I just thought it was really weird. And this is no shade to Lotto, but a little shade. That so many people even cared that Lotto was pregnant. Like, the fact that this was becoming a whole, like, thing. Like, before Lotto announced it, this was becoming a whole thing. That is Lotto pregnant? Is that? I thought that was bizarre to begin with. I'm like, y'all care about the ins and outs of Lotto's life? Like, Lotto's life? Y'all care about anything if you let me tell it, because I thought that was weird from the jump. Now, I am very aware that there's like a 21 Savage angle to this, and this is what I'm going to say to that. No one involved in the situation, as we know it right now, gives a damn. So you can say 21 Savage is married, not married, with the woman, not with the woman, whatever. Nobody has came to you and told you they mad about a damn thing. You ain't seen no mess, no drama, no nothing. So why do you care? You can tell me right now 21 Savage laid up with another bitch that ain't Lotto. Until she come out and say she don't like Lotto, Lotto did this. Why do you care? Why would I care about what another bitch allowing? Why would I care about another person papers? Why would I care about another person baby daddy? Why? I need the people who get, and like you guys know, I love gossip and mess more than the next. But y'all get real interesting when the girls pop up pregnant. I think it's projection. I think a lot of you need to like look into your life and see why like baby mama, baby daddy, like why that stuff is like y'all like hill to die on. Like the women who be like, y'all ain't never married. Y'all ain't never married. What is that? What is this thing where like you just think a woman is the lowest of low lives if she has a baby and not married? Like, I really think you guys need to look into that. I think it's like I think you hate yourself. I think you hate yourself. I think you hate your moms. I think you hate your cousins. I think you hate your aunts. I think a lot of you have a lot of pent up like anger towards your situation. Like maybe you didn't grow up in the healthiest environment, or like you just have a lot of resentment for a lot of the women around you, and a lot of the women around you were possibly single mothers, and you have this idea in your head that if they were married, your life would have been better. But like, who's to say? Them just the breaks, and that's nobody else's problem. That's nobody else's problem. Like, and the thing is, when you decide to start your family, make sure you get to be married. And whatever you want, and you get to go do. Why does Hallie's life have something to do with you? Why does Flo Millie's life have something to do with you? Why does Sky Jackson's life have something to do with you? Why does Lotto's life have something to do? Why do those women represent so much to you? I do not get it. I don't know why being a baby mama is the worst thing in the world. I don't understand why you guys think marriage saves women from anything. Why do you guys think once someone, y'all always listing all the things that can happen to a woman if she end up having a baby with a man? What makes you guys think a ring and some paper gonna stop any of that stuff? If anything, it makes it worse, because once you marry these men, oh, y'all tied together. Try to kick that man out your house if you want to. Try to take that baby if you want to. Once you decide that you want to be them papers with them men, like, it is so hard to get rid of that man. Not saying you'll want to, but the thing is, as you're acknowledging, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And so this idea that marriage is going to save you from like being down and out, I genuinely think, like I said, I think a lot of you grew up seeing your moms, cousins, aunts, or sisters being down and out, and you believe it was them niggas that got them down and out. And maybe that's true, but like, that don't gotta be Lotto's story, or it will be Lotto's story, and who cares? And I think when you look at women like Halle Bailey and stuff, like, you get back up. You get back up. Like, this idea that like these women get in these relationships and things do turn out bad and like their whole life has to be bad forever. I don't agree with that. And I think it gets really nasty. And it really sucks that we've seen a lot of Black women get pregnant, and it seems like a lot of them have had to like hide their pregnancy out of fear of what people are going to say, because you guys do get really nasty. I think the only thing you guys should say is like, congratulations. Lotto music sucks. If you want to like be mean to Lotto, the song she released sucks. Be mean about that. But I don't think you should wish Lotto nothing but the best and nothing but a healthy pregnancy, because anything beyond that is just really not your business. It's like really not your business. And like I said, maybe I'm speaking out of turn because I love gossip and mess more than if Lotto was a girl like I knew. Ooh, baby, I'll be chatting. But like, she's not. Nobody is going to ask me for pamper money. Nobody's going to ask me to babysit. I didn't get invited to nary a baby shower. So it's just like, I ain't got nothing for it. The next thing, Usher has always been weird, y'all. It's just, every time Usher does something weird, everyone forgets about it. But Usher always does really odd things. Usher was down in an interview saying that Diddy has been misrepresented and, like, you know, he don't want to speak bad on Diddy. Usher, count your days. Count your days, Usher. You're weird. You are really fucking weird. I think it's so odd to say somebody is something when they have been accused of all types of stuff and you wasn't around. And you wasn't around to know if it's true or false. I think that is really, really odd. Seeing so many, not so many, it's only been a couple of niggas who have come out to be like, Diddy's not that bad. This is how we do it. This is what I'm at the top of the video when I was talking about Jay-Z and hip hop culture. This is what happened. This is what hip hop culture actually is. This is what actually is. These men get to do unspeakable things to women and everybody just acts like it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Or we all need to forgive them. You just trying to bring down the Black man. Save it. Save it. Anyways, that's the end of this one. I will talk to you guys in the next one.